Huge news coming from a very reliable source saying that there is a Mandalorian game in development between Microsoft and Lucasfilm Games. This and all the evidence suggesting that this is definitely going to happen, and so much more in today's EcksToo video. So be sure to hit that like button, it really helps us grow, and if you want more Star Wars gaming news in future, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a beat. But with the intros all done, let's dive right into the video. Just about a day ago, we had a new video from Phil Spencer, the Vice President of Gaming at Microsoft, talking about diversity within Xbox and how they want to expand their IPs. Many speculate upcoming and new games based on what this man has on his shelf. Now, there has been legitimate clues and confirmations in the past from this. And one thing many people noticed in this image is the Mandalorian Funko Pop on the top shelf. However, this doesn't seem to be a coincidence, as according to co-founder of XboxEra.com, Sheepshell Ed said that there is actually a Mandalorian game coming up. Nick is an insider for everything Xbox, including Microsoft games that they're working on, and in a series of tweets he stated this. Okay, so you notice there's a Mandalorian Funko on Phil's shelf. Yes, someone is making a Mandalorian game. Not sure yet, sorry. That tweet ended up getting deleted and updated by saying, by the way, the Funko was in last Phil's shelf pick. I personally never noticed it the first time, but I saw it this time. I asked if I could mention the game and I got the okay. That tweet also got deleted and then replaced with another, yes, there is going to be a Mandalorian game, but apparently that is not a Mandalorian Funko Pop on Phil's shelf. I have a feeling I might have just said something I wasn't supposed to yet. And he followed up that tweet with, I might have just said something I wasn't supposed to yet, hoping I didn't burn my source, got some apologizing to do. Personally, a lot of this does sound a little bit shaky, especially with the constant tweet updates, backpedaling and tweet deletes as well. However, this does link up with previous information discovered by Mr. Matty Plays a couple of days ago. That was just about a week ago, where it was discovered that Xbox first-party developers are working on a new Lucasfilm IP game. Now, that definitely doesn't open up a lot of avenues, because that could be anything from Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Monkey Island, etc. However, we can whittle this down because we know Indiana Jones is going to have his own video game as well very, very soon. People reached out to Double Fine and Monkey Island creator Tim Schafer if there was anything they're doing that's related to this news. He stated that after Psychonauts 2 is completed, their new game is going to be a completely new IP, so nothing related to Lucasfilm IP either. And finally, many are speculating that this is coming from ZeniMax Studios, since Mr. Matty Plays has a lot of connections with that development group and they have many unannounced games. Now, Mr. Matty Plays definitely has a good track record. We just mentioned him a couple of days ago in our KOTOR video, where he actually managed to figure out who was working on a new KOTOR remake back until February. But this was at a time where nobody really believed anybody and all the KOTOR 3 news was just speculation at that point. But he definitely sussed it out through his connections much sooner than when it was actually announced. He's covered a lot of Star Wars stuff in the past, including the KOTOR fan remake that was shut down 2 years ago. He was working very closely with those developers and showing first-hand gameplay from it. We've covered all the news on the KOTOR remake, including some stuff that hasn't been properly covered. So if you're interested in figuring out what this KOTOR news is all about, click that information card in the top right, or click the link in the comments down below. News of a Mandalorian game isn't new here either. Just a couple of months ago, we covered that Cory Barlog, creative director of God of War from Santa Monica Studios, said openly that he really wanted to make a Mandalorian game. This sparked a lot of interest and a lot of attention to Star Wars 1313, a AAA Star Wars game that was cancelled during the transition to Disney. That game was built to be very similar to Mandalorian, as you're playing Boba Fett, a bounty hunter taking down certain underground enemies, and that game was directly inspired by Bounty Hunter, which was on the GameCube and PS2. This time around though, there is a lot of weight supporting the possibility of there being a Mandalorian game. Whether you believe in these insiders' credibility or not, a Mandalorian game is the safest bet for any studio to generate a lot of money. We're seeing this beyond sequel trilogy era of Star Wars content that primarily focuses on TV series rather than films. Now, we're getting a lot of these TV series and a Star Wars film in the next 2 years, as well as Rogue Squadron, which is to be expected in the next 3 years. This is all in perfect timing for a Mandalorian game to release at around the Rogue Squadron film. As mentioned, games take a long time to develop. If a Mandalorian game was in development, I'd say it was in pre-production no longer than about 12 months ago, and that is certainly a stretch. But if the best case scenario is true and it has had a 1 year pre-production already, it's definitely going to take anywhere between 3 to 4 years to have that game fully developed until it's released. It really boils down to what these publishers are willing to give for developers to make this game. God of War, for example, sat in pre-production and production for years, but they didn't have the stress of a gigantic IP on their backs. And Star Wars games tend to have a very short production line, bar Jedi Fallen Order. But we'll explain that in another video later on down the road, so definitely hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on that video. But that is where I'm going to wrap up today's video. There was extra Star Wars news covering the Jedi Fallen Order next gen content update, but we covered that a long time ago, so if you want to go and check out what's being changed in that game, we'll just link that video in the top right corner right now. There is a lot of graphical improvements in terms of resolution, FPS and actual graphics, but there is no DLC content per se, so if you've already completed the game, you're not really missing out on much. But my question of the day to you guys is, would you want a Mandalorian game? Do you think it fits pretty well with the whole Star Wars gaming genre? Or are you just completely fatigued on Mandalorian content at this point? Or who knows, perhaps you just don't really care much about Mandalorian, but you are still a Star Wars fan. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. I read all of them, and I'll try to get back to some of you as well. But with that all said and done, I've been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.